If you've been sued and you don't think you owe the money, then you have a right to obtain information from the plaintiff and his attorney. And that process of you learning what that lawsuit's about, that's called pretrial discovery. So let me give you some examples. You can send the plaintiff and the plaintiff attorney a list of questions, and they'll have to answer those questions within a prescribed time period and give you access to those answers. Let's say that you question the amount owed. Well, you would want, in that circumstance, to look at all the billings that they've got to see what they claim you owe. Well, in that case, you would file a motion for production of documents, and they'd have to provide you all the support documents proving up what they say you owe. If you did the questions, those are called interrogatories. Interrogatories is nothing more than a Latin word for questions. You might want them to admit or deny certain things, so you'd ask them questions and say, do you admit? Well, that's a motion for admissions. You have all those rights as a litigant in any lawsuit. It's expensive to do that, and you'll need an attorney to prepare those for you, but if you're going to defend the lawsuit, you need to know those things. The next thing here that I want you to know about, because it just comes up all the time. You will not be arrested if you do not attend court. You were served a collection lawsuit. That's a civil proceeding. That's not a criminal proceeding. You're not being charged with any crime. So let's say that you don't show up. What's going to happen? Well, if you've had the 10 or 30 days notice, the judge will enter judgment against you. You'll then owe that money as a judgment. But you're not going to go to jail. There's not going to be any warrant issued for your arrest because it's not a criminal proceeding. It's a civil proceeding. It might help you to understand if it were a criminal proceeding, the judge would say, are you innocent or guilty? Well, you're not innocent or guilty as to owing some money. That's just a collection lawsuit. So if for whatever reason you don't attend the collection lawsuit, no warrant is going to be issued for your arrest. Now let's assume that you go to court. What are your choices? You need to know what you're going to do before you walk into that courtroom or before you decide you're even going to go to the court. So let's stop and think for a minute about what your choices are. The judge is going to call your case, and you'll come up, and the plaintiff attorney will come up, and he'll say, do you owe that money? Do you owe the money? Well, if you admit that you owe the money, he's going to enter judgment against you, the judge will. And you will have accomplished absolutely nothing by attending court. Absolutely nothing. So that's not a smart route to take. The next one is, you might say, well, Judge, I don't owe what they say I do, but I do owe this. Well, in that case, the judge can, if he wants to, he can look at the plaintiff attorney and say, well, do you want me to enter judgment for what he admits he owes? So again, that's not too smart a step on your part either. Now, the third one that I've got up there, do you deny that you owe the money? In that case, what's going to happen? Well, on that first day, that first setting day, the plaintiff attorney doesn't have any witnesses there with him. The plaintiff attorney himself can't testify. He's not a witness. So the judge is going to continue the case and set a trial date at a later point. And at that later trial date, that's when the plaintiff attorney will have to put his witnesses on the stand and have the documents marked as exhibits proving up that you owe something. So that's an alternative. Just deny you owe the money. The fourth choice is also a good choice. Ask for a continuance. Again, 10 days and even 30 days is not a very adequate time period for you to get ready for responding to a lawsuit. Most people have never even been sued before in their life. So 10 or 30 days is not a great deal of time to prepare. Just ask the judge and say, Judge, I'd like a continuance so that I can visit with an attorney. The judge is going to give you that continuance, period. Now, the next one I want to warn you about. Be forewarned of the friendly collection attorney. Astute collection attorneys, they're always going to be friendly to you. And if they can, they'd love to get you out in the hallway to the courtroom and visit with you. And they'll try to work out a payment plan with you. And after you work out a payment plan with them, then they're going to take you back into the courtroom and they'll say, Judge, we've worked out an agreement. Well, what the collection attorney doesn't tell you in almost all instances is he's going to have a judgment entered against you. And that is what he's explaining to the judge. So without ever having to put a witness on or mark anything as an exhibit, he's going to win his lawsuit because your lack of familiarity with what's going on. If you're out in the hallway and you want to talk with him, say, well, yeah, we can work out a payment plan, but you've got to agree that you're not going to take a judgment against me. You will delay this whole lawsuit until I've paid you what I owe you under our payment plan. If you want to do something like that, maybe I'll agree to it. But I'm not going to go back in the courtroom and let you enter judgment against me. There's no upside to me to do that. You need to speak up if you're going to go to court. Don't be a sucker. Don't be taken advantage of. Now, the next one is important. Let's assume that you go through the videos on this in this series. Do you need to go through all the videos? No, of course not. I hope you do, though. The intent of these videos is, instead of, again, me telling you what a great lawyer I am, this is a different kind of website. I'm not aware of any other website that has done what I've done. I've given you detailed information about bankruptcy. I'm treating you like an adult. This is not like some commercial for bankruptcy attorneys that you see on TV. You'll hear on the TV, bankruptcy stops garnishments, bankruptcy stops foreclosures. And they expect you to be dumb enough to accept that as adequate information for calling their law office to schedule an appointment. It's just it's a means of grabbing your attention to get you into their office. There's no substantive information or helpful information provided to you whatsoever. Well, this website's different. I give you details. I walk you through the complete bankruptcy process. If you watch all the videos and then call me, you and I can sit down and have a meaningful conversation because I've already shared with you a tremendously helpful amount of information. If you decide after watching the videos that bankruptcy is appropriate for resolving your problem, then here's what I do for my clients. If you come in and pay a retainer fee of $500, in that case, the retainer is to represent you in bankruptcy. So I will, in addition to that, I will enter an entry of appearance as your attorney in all of your collection lawsuits. And if they have not entered judgment against you, I'm going to gain you additional time, 60 to 90 days on average. Your actual fee that you're paying me is zero because I'm not charging you extra to do that. If you have hired me as your bankruptcy attorney, then I do that as a part of representing you. Why do I do that? Well, very few people have the funds to pay the attorney fee and the bankruptcy filing fee and get everything ready. If you had that much money, you wouldn't be sued by a creditor. So I know that you need additional time to get ready for bankruptcy, and that's why I make that service available to you. Now, I will tout myself a little bit. If you call the law firms that advertise on television, or most other lawyers, they're not going to do that for you. They'll not enter any collection lawsuits on your behalf whatsoever. Also, they won't take creditor calls. If you engage me as your attorney when you come in, then when you leave, when you get a call from your collection people, just tell them Jim Maroney is your attorney, and don't be worried about it. So let's get on to the next video.